Welcome to the Paranormal Pride. I'm your host, Denise Pridemore, and this is my husband, Ron. You guys all know him from being my husband. and this is Keela.
Yeah, you should see my arm down here.
Yeah, that's Keela. So I'm sorry that we missed you guys all for the last couple weeks, but we are back tonight with our guest, Rick McCallum. He was supposed to be our guest last week, but we had a family thing we had to take care of. And Rick was nice enough to say yes a second time. And here we are. So I'd like to welcome Rick McCallum to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm not all that popular, so when somebody asks me to come, I don't mind if I have to come back the next week.
I doubt that that's true. It's just, you are very popular. People really like you, and they seem to really want to hear your stories. And the reason we wanted to talk to you is we wanted to talk a little bit more about
Hello, Mom.
About the trip that we're all taking, that we finally did sign up for. And so you're going to be our tour guide and our fearless leader in Ireland in September. So we are very excited. And that was the reason why I said, you know what? Ron has all these questions about all these places over there.
I do.
Well, you did.
Nope.
Hey,
Susan and Mike.
Well, I guess he doesn't have any questions anymore. So we're done. We'll see you.
Gotta go.
No, I'm kidding. Easiest show ever, right? But yeah, I wanted to talk more about all of it because I really want to make sure that, first off, that your tour is sold out. And even if it's not, and it's just the people who have already signed up, we're going to have a great time regardless. But,
well, we are, because I know most of the people that have signed up, and they are all actually really into the paranormal. They're not there to take pictures of the greenery. So it should be pretty interesting.
I will tell you, I will take pictures of the greenery too. And because I like remembering every places. Hey, Nigel, thank you for being here. But so you pre-show, you were telling us you've been to Ireland before. So that's good. That's a plus. On this tour, is there any place on this tour that you've been prior to? Like, have you been to Giant's Causeway? Have you been to any Bushmills Distillery? Any of that stuff up in the north part?
No, I was a guest of Scottish Paranormal, and we didn't get to go to too many places because, there's some traveling and everything else, but we did get to go to probably the two most iconic places, which is Hellfire Club and Leap Castle. And we stayed overnight at Leap Castle, and that was something. So, yeah, those were two really cool places to go to. Those are iconic. When you're a ghost hunter, you got to throw those into the mix. Yeah, I remember when I was over at those two places. So it's got some stuff to it. And by the way, keep your camera loaded because there's lots of good scenery.
Well, believe me, we will. In fact, I've got to make sure that I clean off our SD card before we go. And I got to make sure Ron brings his cell phone so we have extra backup for pictures.
Nice.
So, we just recently watched the Leap Castle episode with Chris Fleming.
Mm-hmm.
Again. Keeps taping.
But I will tell you, the Leap Castle, I remember seeing that on a show called
Hey, Crystal.
Scariest Places on Earth with Linda Blair. Do you remember that show? When they
would take these families. I saw Linda Blair last weekend, by the way.
Oh. So, I think that I used to love that show. I thought it was funny that they would take these families and drop them off in these places, and they had to figure it out. And Leap Castle was one of those. And you figure that's got to have been more than 20 years ago that show was on.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. I will tell you, though, the one really active place is Hellfire.
Yeah.
Because everybody that was there, some people were in the back room and stuff. They were coming out and they had all these recordings. And Hellfire, when you go there, and here's a little hint for everybody: make sure you wear walking shoes because it's about maybe at least a quarter of a mile, maybe farther up this hill. So make sure you wear your walking shoes when you get there for that one. But it's a really cool place. As a matter of fact, let's see here. Yeah. This is the cover of my book, and that is me at Hellfire Club looking out the window.
That's one of the places that's been on our list
Oh, yeah.
for a long time. Isn't there a second Hellfire Club in England?
Yeah. It's both of the people, members were both places. So yeah, it was all the hoity-toity people, right?
Yep.
That were there. And what they used to do is they used to have all kinds of debauchery, would be the best way to say it, getting drunk and chasing the ladies of the evening, and then getting
or something else.
Getting chased around by a baboon.
Crystal says she's been in the bar in Ireland that the Hellfire Club people hung out in.
There's like I say, there's a lot of stuff to enjoy when you get to Ireland. It's going to be a good tour, it really is. I'm looking forward to it.
And Lep Castle's not on that tour, right?
Our tour?
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, I couldn't remember.
Yep.
It's actually
looking forward to that one the most, probably.
It's actually the very first one in here.
Oh, is it? Like I said, I can't. I've been looking at everything on my teeny tiny little cell phone. So I like I said, I'm just excited about all of it. Hopefully, Crystal, we get a chance to see the Roach Castle there, the Blackwater Castle, because we talked to May and she's going to try. So we're going to keep our fingers crossed that we get to go there.
Hello, Irene.
So just avoid the Temple Bar. Okay. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Do you, Rick? You don't think?
I don't drink, so I would probably avoid both. But I do like to go to some places in Scotland, and Ireland's probably the same, where they have a lot of, folk music for their own country. And I know May's big into that. May's a real good entertainer. So, and the other thing that's cool, and I bet you it happens, is Sean, the guy who owns Lep Castle, plays the whistle. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Huh.
Oh,
yeah.
And he's really good at it. He usually plays that for the people.
Temple Bar is an area that has all the restaurants and bars. They said, I don't know where we're going. I'm gonna get on the bus and just go. Just make sure I get on the right bus. I think our biggest adventure is going to be getting through the Atlanta airport, to be honest.
Atlanta's a tough one. The one that, if you can avoid it at all, avoid London, Heathrow. It's a terrible airport.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Yeah. So from what I understand, if we can get a flight from Atlanta, we don't have to stop anywhere but Ireland.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
that's straight shot.
That'd be perfect. Hopefully we'll be able to meet up with Kat and Lori there and fly over with them. That would be a hell of a flight.
Well, be careful when you're in the airport with those two, because they flew in on different flights, and Kat looked over and Lori was at the next gate, and she ran over to hug her and just went splat. They both went bouncing. Yeah, she just slobber knocked her right to the ground.
Oh shit!
She was so excited to see Lori.
We have got to be careful with Kat anyway.
Why is that?
Because she gets hurt everywhere she goes.
Especially Key West.
We got to keep her healthy. We don't want to carry her around.
Well, when we were in Scotland recently, there was me and Mikey and Kat and Lori and everything else. And we went out to a place called Culloden, which was a big battle. And we're standing there and she goes, oh, and just doubles over. She goes, oh, my stomach. It feels like somebody shot me. And I was like, well, that wasn't very nice of them, was it? Yeah.
She talked about that.
Yeah, that was interesting. And something belted her in the head at the Writers Museum.
I guess she told us all about that. Her and Lori. we had Lori.
And you just
Had
get
the-
scratched.
Yeah, I just get scratched. So
Oh yeah, we'll have a over under. We'll have to everybody place a bet for how many times Denise gets scratched on this tour. Probably be what?
9 days. I'm going with 7.
Oh, I'd go over on that.
over 7.
Way over 7.
It happens everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. In fact,
She'll get scratched in the hotel room wherever we're.
But you said
first time.
scratched. I thought you said trashed.
Oh, trashed 0.
Yeah.
I don't drink. So
I don't either.
I mean, unless something's really good, maybe I will. Who knows? But yeah, the first time Crystal met me as an adult, she's my cousin. First time she met me as an adult was me coming out of a room going, I've been scratched. Yeah.
Yep. Weren't even there 5 minutes, maybe.
So
No, they're saying hello to you. That's all.
Yeah.
So it should be a lot of fun. I mean, how can you not have fun with you guys, little old me, Kat, Lori? I mean, and some of the other people I know too. They're a hoot. So we're gonna have fun. Oh, I got three of my cousins coming too. So
so it's a family affair.
yeah.
Let's see. I realized this month coming up, I've known Kat 10 years.
I've known her about 10 too. I met her at Scarefest one time, and I don't know why, but we just really hit it off.
Yep.
I mean,
If you can't hit it off with Kat, then you can't hit it off with anyone.
well, I just figured nobody wants to hit it off with me, so she must have been lost a bet or something.
You're one of her most favorite people.
Well, that's good to know.
She'll drop everything for you.
She'd bail me out.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe not bail you out, but she'd at least take pictures and watch and laugh.
You're ready to talk. Exactly. Get pictures and laugh at me as I'm laying there.
Blackmail. But that's the thing. How much of this trip's going to be blackmail? Is it what happens in Ireland stays in Ireland?
Probably not. Probably not. Better watch your P's and Q's. The one thing that you should really hope for is when you're in a foreign country is they don't keep you. That's
Oh yeah. So, but yeah, we talked to May. We said, yeah, we got our passport. I said we went to Mexico. They let us back in, so it must work right. So here we are.
Did you guys get the UK visa?
No.
There's a new thing, the UK visa that you have to be able to go in the country. And you can get it online. It's $10, but you have to have this visa. It's good for 2 years. It's something just came out.
Really?
Yeah, but I don't think Ireland's part of the UK, is it?
No.
Is Scotland?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
definitely is.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that.
Well,
I didn't either.
that's-
So Kat told me.
It's just
It's
the
not
way to
easy.
raise money.
You just go online and look up UK ETA, two separate words, UK ETA, and you just put in a couple answers to some stuff. Put in a couple pictures. You got to take a picture of your passport. You got to take a picture of your face. You send both them in there, and they said, "Well, your one thing, the one of your face doesn't go." So I just went, "Continue." Then I went, "Okay, your offer, your thing is accepted." I was like, "Okay, take that."
Yeah, we
Yeah,
had to
it's-
do the same thing for the cruise, but they didn't charge us anything.
They just want some money.
Yeah, which, whatever.
Well, I don't get
Bill
mad
Carroll,
when it's $10. It's like, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
it's not worth not getting, and if it's
You
good for
have
2
to.
years,
You have to get it, or they won't let you in.
I guess I better tell my daughter that because she's going to Italy and they're stopping in London on the way to Italy.
Not a problem.
London's UK.
Yeah,
Are
but if you
To
Yeah,
the
but-
airport?
No, they're
Through the
staying,
airport?
They're
They're
staying,
actually staying in
they're
London.
staying in London. for
Okay,
2
then
days.
that's a problem.
Yeah. She
I
told
thought
me.
you're switching planes in London. That's not a problem.
Mm-mm.
You don't.
wouldn't think so.
No,
No.
it's not. But they said that they had a long layover in London, so they decided just to go and stay for a couple days, and then continue on to Italy.
Two places I'd like to go.
So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to go to Italy. So Carol says, I'm a ghost hunter and I work with one of the guys from Taps, and I've been in the Conjuring house 6 times, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's interesting. So Rick.
Yes.
I know you have gone to so many places in the United States. We're going to stick with the United States for right now. Where is your favorite place, that your go-to place that you just want to go ghost hunt? Where do you go?
I think, and you can't go there anymore, it was the LAPD Museum, Los Angeles Police Department Museum. And I was one of the people that led the tours through there. Mikey was there with us, and that place got more haunted every time we went.
Huh.
And, yeah, well, they started to recognize us.
Yeah.
Familiarity.
Yeah, there was one guy named Walter who was the first guy killed in a motorcycle cop killed in the LAPD, and they had a little shrine for him in the basement. And he and I struck up a friendship because I have this on film too, where I came down and this whole big table and there's 2 K2 meters on it, and I've got one in my hand, and I put mine down. Now this table's got to be a good 12 feet long. And Melissa St. Hilaire, who is a psychic medium, she's down there and she goes, Rick, we just got a name through this, and he said his name was Arthur. And I said, it's probably not Arthur, it's probably Walter, right? And she looks at me and said, Walter, are you here? And all 3 of the K2 meters went, all 5 lights. And all at the same time, they were like, holy crap. And I said, yeah, Walter's here. So, you know, you get to where you get some friends in the ghost hunting world. And one of the things I'll tell you about tonight is what happened at Balgony Castle, because it's amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. Do you guys know about Balgony Castle?
I know a little bit about it, but go ahead and explain.
Yeah, I've been there so many times. The first time I went there, the Laird, Raymond, came up, and for some reason, he really took a liking to me, right? And I took a real liking to him. We were like best friends forever after about 5 minutes. And he looks at me and he goes, can you get up? I had just fallen and really messed up my knee. And he goes, can you go up 3 flights of stairs with that knee? I said, you got a handrail? He goes, yeah. I said, yeah, you good. So we started going up the stairs, and one of the guys from Scottish Paranormal, they're the in-house ghost hunting group for that place, leans over and says to me, he goes, he's never taken us up there, right? So this was kind of a special deal. So we get up there, and his place is exactly what you would think. I mean, it was the giant fireplace of stone, the leather couches, you know, everything. It looked exactly like a movie set. But the thing that made it all different, now, the Laird was very good woodworker, painters, steel worker, leather worker. I mean, world class. Matter of fact, he had, there were 27 doors, I think, in the castle, and he had carved both sides of all these doors. So, I mean, he's just amazing. But when we got up there, there were these things that were roughly, I would say, that wide, about that wide, and about that long, 31 of them in the ceiling that he had all hand painted, and they were all the former lairds of Balgony Castle. So, but he and I got to be great friends. I mean, it was really strange how we bonded. But he had passed away, and when we went back there, we all went into this one room, and there was Kat, Lori, me, Mikey, and his wife Julie, and then there were some other people that were on a tour. And we sit down, and I've got a K2, she's got a K2, another K2. Right behind us is the REM pods. And pretty much everything ghost hunting wise that will light up was in that room. It was just packed with all kinds of stuff. And I just said, is there anybody in here that wants to talk to us? And every single thing in the room went boom, as high as it could go. And the REM pod was right near Kat. Kat goes, I've never seen anything like that. She goes, it looked like fireworks that was going off so hard. And I looked down at my K2 and it was frozen on 5. So I looked over at Lori's, hers was frozen on 5, and so was the other girl's. So I turned mine off and turned it back on. It went up and it's froze at 5. So the energy that was in that room was amazing, right? And I'm sitting there, and everybody's looking at me, right? All, my friends are all just looking at me. And I'm going, well, it's got to be somebody that knows about, ghost hunting. And I went, holy crap, it's the Laird, right? And everything starts flashing again. And they're like, we've never seen anything like that. I said, I never have either. But I mean, it was so cool. It was like he just came back to tell me goodbye.
Did you have a big temperature change when that happened?
I didn't notice one.
Didn't notice one? Okay.
I didn't notice one, but I was too busy going, I was like, holy cow. Matter of fact, Kat and I just both wrote an article for Fate about what happened there. Something in your room?
No, my computer flashed. So
yeah, all 3.
Yeah, I have 3 monitors, and 2 of them flashed at the same time and kind of drew my attention. That's all.
Yeah, that would do it. But yeah, that's the most amazing thing I've ever been on. I mean, to have that much energy hit every piece of equipment that fast and that hard, it was amazing.
Takes a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite piece of equipment when you're in the situation that you were in Balgony Castle? What would be the best piece of equipment to use?
Well, I always use a K2 meter, and I get really good results with it. I mean, people even tease me, right? I'll come over there and Mikey will go, here comes the king of the K2. But the guys at Scottish Paranormal, they told me, you'll never get anything in this cave. And I went, Mary, are you in here? And it went like 4 lights. And they went, it's never gone off for us in 5 years. Can I tell you?
Well, Jack Osborne, his favorite thing is what? The millimeter?
Yeah.
He likes
I've got one, I've never used it. I've got one, I've never used it.
We've got one. I guess we probably should.
Been a while.
We probably should bring it.
I don't even know how to use it.
Just turn it on. There it goes.
The millimeter or the ghost meter?
The millimeter. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
The ghost meter is just a K2. Just says ghost meter.
Don't you be dissing my K2s. I said, don't you be dissing my K2s.
Oh
no.
Nope, not doing that because I don't own a K2.
It's similar.
And I've rarely used one, but we have a thing.
We're going to have a lot of people with, I'd say, a lot of experience. We're going to have lots of different equipment, lots of different techniques. That's what I'll be interested to see. Everybody does, what they do.
And how we all mix it together.
Because we don't have a certain way. We don't. When we investigate, we don't have a certain way that we do it. We just kind of go by the seat of our pants, I guess.
And other than that, he goes one way and I go another.
Usually.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It just happens.
We're just never together.
Cover more ground that way.
There you go. Maybe that's what it is.
But yeah.
She'll see spirits, but she never tells me till 6 months later. Then it's like, I've
gotten better.
Yeah, I've gotten better. Cut it to 4 months.
Well, the nice thing about Mikey, he has enough equipment to run like 4 different ghost hunting shows at the same time when he brings it up.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to just travel light as it is. I don't want to take everything under the sun with us. I want to travel light. So it'll probably be whatever I can get in the smallest package available that will get through security without a problem.
Definitely bring my Echo Box, little iPad. Probably a better iPad than what I have right now. But
and a better speaker.
Yeah. Speaker's all right.
Well, we may not be able to hook it in.
We'll see.
Because there's no...
Oh, no, not that one.
No, I mean, but there's no things on these anymore. It's all Bluetooth. So...
we'll see.
So,
you'll figure it out. You got 6 months.
We got time. We're still... We've already started looking for waterproof shoes. Because we already got walking shoes. We just need waterproof walking shoes.
Well, there are shoes that you can just things that you can just pull on over your shoes that are waterproof.
Yeah.
And they have them in Scotland.
Oh, okay. So they're what they used to call the rubbers, right? I mean,
well,
that's what they called them.
Yeah, but these aren't that high up like that. These just go up to like your ankle. It's just like putting
all I want. So, because I keep telling him, I said, I can't find any shoes I like. They don't sell Merrells in Florida.
Really?
No. You got to order them online because they say we don't have the terrain for those types of shoes. I was like, does everybody want to run in the rain here in wet shoes? I don't get it. So, hey, Judy.
Hey, Judy.
So, but yeah, we're like I said, we're getting prepared for everything. We've already got our rain gear. Well, one of us has got rain gear. One of us has got good walking boots.
No, not good enough for that.
Mine is.
Yours is?
I think so.
What do you got?
Got that raincoat we got at Hamrick's.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we're getting prepared. So
my raincoat is vinyl, and it looks like I've been in a fight with Wolverine. It's got cuts all through it. I mean, it's.
Tape it up.
I got to get the girl downstairs to fix it for me.
Duct tape works for everything.
Well, I don't want to look like, a beggar while I'm there.
Maybe you can pay for extra stuff on your trip. But
I got another story for you that your people have to hear, because this was this was really something too. We were in Inverness Cemetery, and we were the first group to ever, according to one of the TAPS guys, we're the first group to ever ghost hunt it.
Where was this at?
Inverness Cemetery.
Inverness,
where is that?
Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Okay.
Yeah, northern Scotland. But we're out there and we're doing our thing, and my knees were killing me because I need a knee replacement. So I mean, we walked 9 miles, so my knees are just screaming at me, and I'm looking around for a place to sit down, and my knees are starting to wobble, and I'm like, I don't want to fall down. So I'm looking around, and right next to me is a tombstone, and it looks like a table. It's flat like that. I just looked over and I said, I mean you no disrespect, but if I don't sit down, I'm going to fall on you, right? So I sat down, and my K2 had not gone off all night, not a single blip, right? And there was a girl that was there that was kind of a guest to go along. And I sat down. As soon as I sat down, the K2 went all 5 lights. And I went, you telling me to get off this thing? And it goes, boom, all 5 lights. And I said, can I just sit here for 30 seconds? I said, my knees are really sore and stuff like that. And it twinkled like on 3. So I just sat there, and after about 30 seconds, bam, 5 lights again. And the girl's getting freaked out. And I said, if you do that again, are you trying to tell us right now that that I should get off of this? And it goes 5 lights. I said, all right, I'll tell you what, do it again right now, and I'll get up. Boom, 5 lights. She says, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to get up. What do you think? But I've never had interaction that completely strong, just punching you in the face strong. I had 5 lights on everything except for when I begged for a little mercy, and I got 3 lights. But I mean, it was like boom, 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 every one of them. I was like, well, I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to have me sit on me either when I was passed away. So that was pretty cool. I actually told Kat, I said, you know what, Kat, I think I'm going to stop ghost hunting. She goes, what are you talking about? And I said, think of what happened the last 2 nights. How am I ever going to beat those 2 things?
Yes.
Right? And she goes, well, let's just put it this way. When it comes to ghost hunting, after those 2 nights, now you know. I said, what? Kind of knew before. She goes, no, now you really know after those 2 nights. So that was pretty cool.
Now what it is it's now your job to see if you can get other people to have similar experiences.
I try to do that anyway, wherever we go.
Yes, that's what we do. We try to help other people have paranormal experiences, or at least point them in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like sometimes that's all they need is direction.
I remember that there's a place in Scotland called Calton Hill, and it's a hill right down off to the side of Edinburgh, and it's got all these old-time monuments. And you look down, you can see the whole city. And to get up there, there's about 100-yard walk up this asphalt thing with a handrail in the middle, so you can be on both sides. And me and Lori are walking up the hill, and it's kind of dark. Sun's just going down, and right next to me, and you can't be anywhere because it's all hedges from the bottom all the way up. So it's just a tube. So we're walking along, and I hear somebody right here, this close, go, "Pardon me," like he was mad, right? So I turned around. I was going to say, "You don't have to talk to me like that," right? And I turned around, and there's nobody there. And I can see 75 yards, it's 25 yards left for us to walk up. 75 yards all the way down, there's not a person on this thing. So I looked over at Lori. I said, "Hey, Lori, did you hear something?" She goes, "Yeah, I heard a guy behind you say, 'Pardon me.'" And I said, "Turn around and look." There's nobody here. Yeah. He was kind of crazy. Okay?
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
Yeah. Bye, Judy. Love you too. So you've got some great stories. What were your thoughts when you investigated the Queen Mary the last time?
The last time, I don't think very much happened the last time.
How about the first time?
Oh, I've been on there several times when stuff did happen.
I know you have.
The one that stands out, well, there was one the last time, now I think about it, was the one that was on what do you call it? It was on the internet. They were filming it. Yeah. And that place is just very bizarre. They had a big dance floor, and I was across one side, and I'm looking, and I see a shadow person go right by Tony Rathman, if you know Tony. And I went walking over and said, "Tony, did you see the shadow that walked right by you?" And he goes, "No." I said, "Boy, it was a big one, big, strong one." Kind of went behind him, though. So that was interesting there. But the most interesting thing was when I took my mom there before she passed away. And I asked her, I said, "Do you want anything?" Well, there used to be a bakery years ago on the Queen Mary. So she goes, "Yeah, can you get me a donut?" And I opened up the door. Well, I got to tell you the rest of it. When we checked in, there was probably 25 high school girls all in prom dresses. So I figured they're going to have the prom in one of the ballrooms. So we go down, and I said, I'm standing in the doorway, and I'm leaning on the doorway, and the hall's behind me this way, right? So I'm leaning there. I said, "Well, Ma, what do you want to drink?" And I hear like 10 girls, young girls, just party mode, right? Probably about 30 feet away from me. And I turn around, and the entire hallway is empty. So I turned around, and I scooted up to each thing, going back and forth to see if I could hear any girls in the rooms as I went up. Now, if you can imagine that 10 high school girls in giddy mode were quiet for the rest of the night. Mm-hmm. But we didn't hear anything else after that. So, but this was really strong. So, yeah, that was on the Queen Mary.
When you were on Ghost Adventures.
Yes.
Okay. What were your thoughts at that time about the location you were at?
I didn't know much about the location, but it definitely, I was picking up stuff because I was really ghost hunting, right? The other guys were all doing what they were doing, but I was trying to find something. And me and Nick Groff went down into one of the other places. And as we were walking by, we both stopped and went, "Holy crap." We looked down, the hair on our arms was sticking up like this. Right? Excuse me. I think that's actually in the show where they came over and filmed that. And another one is when I was upstairs, there was a big balcony on the third floor. And Zach had just talked about the blue shapes and stuff. And I'm across the way, and I see these two big shapes go right across one of the pillars. And I was like, "Holy crap." And I said, "I just saw this. See if you can catch it on the camera." but they didn't see it on the camera. But I mean, I saw it clear as could be.
Yeah.
And after that, that's when Zach saw the thing go down into the same area where these things went. This thing went into the room down at the end. So yeah, there was some stuff going on at Pico House.
Is there something that happened?
That was a good episode.
It was.
Yeah.
Was there something that happened that didn't make the cut on the show that you remember that you thought this is going to be on the show? Was there anything like that you remember happening?
I don't think so. They put pretty much everything in there. The one real honest thing about that I was surprised at is that I was in it so much, because you got Kane, Jason Voorhees, you got Leatherface, and then me, right? But they kept coming back to me, and I think it was because I was really ghost hunting.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, if you watch it again, you'll see Zach's telling us everything. You can see him look over towards me, and I go, I point upstairs walking, and he's going, I hear walking. Yeah, I know, I just told you that. But they're pretty good guys. All three of them. I like all three of them. Matter of fact, I stunt coordinated Zach's movie. It was only a one-day thing, but that was cool. Got to go out and hang out with them guys. Aaron's really cool. Nick is cool. He's off somewhere else, but
right.
Yeah, I got along great with all of them.
We got to meet everybody but Nick when we did the
first year he wasn't.
Yeah, it was the first year he wasn't there. We were at the Sally house, and for us, so there was a couple things that happened that didn't make camera. One thing that didn't even get filmed, and that was when they were hooking me up. They had me on the front porch, and they were talking to me, and Ron and our daughter are sitting across the street, and they had to stop filming for a second because there was a car. Noisy street, skinny street. And Zach goes, why didn't you guys, block off the street? And when they did that, all the lights in the house went off behind me and came back on.
Which house was this?
The Sally house in Atchison. And so the thing is when they were talking to me on the front porch, none of that got in there at all. In the house, some things that had happened that didn't make the cut was I was given the tour, and I'm talking to Zach is on one side of me. Aaron and Jay are with me too. Billy's outside. And as I'm standing there telling them stuff about the house, all of a sudden, all three of them got dizzy and had to sit down. And I told them, I said, there's high EMF in this area. I said, when this light is on, it's like a giant EM pump.
Yeah.
And I thought for sure something would have come from that, but it didn't. They stopped filming when they all got dizzy. So, but
probably
it was
a good idea.
Seeing
all the actors going.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at the top of the stairs.
Yeah. Well, you want to know something about the Pico house that was interesting. When Nick and I were down there, we kept a couple things. We kept hearing something at the other end of the hallway, right? And we kept hearing what sounded like metal steps, somebody running up them. So we took off down there, and we're looking around, and they had, here's the hallway. They had a thing blocking off going this way. So we went this way, and there were two sets of stairs, and they were cement, and didn't sound anything like what we were hearing. So the next time I came back, I got invited to come back by another group. So when I got down there, I was asking questions because I'd been asking questions that you don't see on the show that were getting answered when we were there the first time. So I'm asking questions and I'm getting nothing, right? Nothing is going on. And then it dawned on me that the people that got killed were the Chinese, the Mexicans, and some Anglos. So I just turned around and I said, is there anybody in this group that speaks Spanish? This girl goes, I do. I said, can you, after I ask a question, wait like 10 seconds and ask it in Spanish? And once we started doing that, boom, 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 answer one after another in Spanish. So that was pretty cool. So makes me wonder, like all these shows when they go back and they go into like Norway and they're trying to get people to speak English. It's like,
I know.
We've
seen that, and I laugh. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's funny that they expect them to answer in the language that you're speaking to them in. It's like nobody here would have spoke that language. I was just watching that on Expedition X. They were in some location and they were talking to these spirits, but none of these spirits spoke English. I'm like, okay. You kind of have to know your environment.
I wonder what would happen if you could get those little earphones that actually translate.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to go in someplace like that. And of course, you're still not asking them questions in their language, but you can hear something in
their little converter thing.
Well, with Google Translate, we can use that.
So, we might have to do that in Ireland.
We might have to do that to the guys that are just regularly in Ireland. They're hard to understand.
I know.
We're going to be all going, what in the hell did he just say?
What?
Well, the Scots are the same. It's like,
I know.
I know.
Do you guys know Ryan O'Neill?
Yeah.
Ryan is on Haunted Scotland with Chris Fleming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when we were driving, we're actually in Ireland, and he's in the back seat and he's talking. And I finally just turned and I said, "Will you speak English?"
Yeah.
So after that, every time I come in, he's like, "Doodly doodly dee," because that's what he started doing behind me all the time, but just to drive me crazy.
Yeah, I was teasing that I was going to have to learn Irish before this trip.
Yeah, it's funny. They speak English, but you can't tell.
Yeah, it's really fast. Real fast.
And jarbled. It's all It's all squished together too.
Yep.
It's kind of like listening to people in the Appalachians talk.
I try to avoid that area.
I grew up in that area, so I'll probably be fine. So, but I mean, it's been a little while.
Outside of Chicago. I don't want to go back there either.
No.
I there's a lot of places I wouldn't go now that I would have went when I was younger. So are you investigating now in the this year? Yeah,
Kane and I had just done a thing up at David Oman's house a couple weeks ago, and you know what happened at David Oman's house. It's right next to where Sharon Tate got killed and all that stuff. And he usually has a fair amount of stuff going on in there, but it was pretty quiet when we were there.
Yeah, I'm surprised that his house is still standing after all the fires.
Yeah, you were just asking. I wonder if his house got burned up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
How was the neighborhood where he was at? Did that neighborhood get a lot of damage?
No, it's all fine.
Oh, that's good. Because I didn't know. You know, when when we all heard about all the fires, they say this area, and it's like it doesn't mean much to us. It's like when we have a hurricane here, you're going, oh, that sounds bad, but you don't know who's been affected.
Yeah.
So in our case, Hurricane Milton came, and everybody's going, you guys need to get out. And I was like,
we didn't even have a drop of rain.
I said, we live in Milton. Hurricane Milton's not going to hit Milton. I said, that would be way too poetic.
Well, when I lived down in Tennessee for a while at my dad's house, I'm standing there and I'm looking out the front window, and there's a thing saying, update, all schools in Brentwood and blah, 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 canceled due to the heavy snow. I couldn't see a single flake of snow for 10 miles. I'm standing there looking at going, what are they talking about?
It's on the other side of the mountain. And believe me, I know my family's in Eastern Kentucky. In fact, Judy, that was just on here, sometimes it'll snow on the other side of the mountain and they'll close down school for the whole county because all those, getting from the holler to town is probably treacherous.
Yeah, but it was so weird. I'm just standing there going, not a very hardy bunch if this is the snow they're
I know.
Well, that was what I was telling him a few weeks ago. I said, in Baltimore, we'd get snow. If we got 3 inches of snow, we were lucky if they canceled school, And if we got 3 inches of snow, they would go, school starts 2 hours late. You still get your ass to school, And now it's like, we got snow here, which they don't get snow here. They closed down school for the whole week so the kids could go and experience snow. I was like, a whole week? What?
Yeah, well, if you're like me, when I was younger and it snowed like that, I got to experience it. It was called shoveling. Our place and the old ladies on each side of me doing all of theirs too. So I mean, it was, but that was I did that for myself. Nobody told me I had to, but had to clean off their stairs, their walkways. I mean, it was pretty much almost a full day in cleaning everything up.
I'll tell you, we had some unique snowmen here. We had people using their canoes and their kayaks for sleds. Dragging behind trucks on the icy roads.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. What else was it? Oh, bodyboards and snowboards. They use those, or bodyboards for sleds. So they had a great time. So it's interesting.
What they used to have in Chicago, I don't know if they had it in Boston or anything else. They used to have a thing called skeeching. And that's when you would go out and you put your hands and grab the back bumper and just slide behind them.
Bumper ride, yep.
Yeah, St. Louis, he used to do that.
Well, we did until the idiot from Baltimore moved in our neighborhood and told us about it.
Yes, us Baltimoreans are adventurers.
Baltimorean? That sounds like some dangerous creature that's in a
Hey, you know what? I tell people all the time, I said, I'm a Baltimorean, but I know a lot of Baltimoreans. So I make sure that I say Baltimorean for myself.
Yeah,
but I can introduce you to some Baltimoreans if you'd like.
There's enough of them out here. Trust me. You don't have to import them.
So, but yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I learned that very early in life to make sure that I said it right. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out my next places to go. I mean, I'm thinking about going up to Wolf Creek Inn, which is in Oregon. I've been there before. That was very haunted. Have you ever been there?
No, I've seen that one on TV. That looked like a good one.
On 2 or 3 different shows.
Yeah, I had my K2 meter with me, and I had the REM pod all the way on the other side of the room. And I'm sitting there, and I start talking. Is anybody here? And boom, here comes the K2. So it's answering everything I'm asking. And I'm thinking, this is pretty cool. Let's try something a little different. And I said, hey, now that I know that you're here, can you make that thing with the antenna go on? All you got to do is go up close to it, and it'll go off. I was like, okay. Just hadn't buzzed the whole time I'd been there. I asked them to do it. Boom. You know, it's funny. I get people that say, how come you always get your name called? You know, we always hear your name on the tape. How is that possible? I said, remember when I came in? They said, yeah. I said, what was the first thing I said?
Hi, my name is Rick.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Rick. I'm here to see if I can't talk to you. The one that was funny was, can't remember the name of the castle right now, but it was one of the castles. And I will walk along with my phone like this, and I will just go, shoot, put my hand over so I can try over the fence, shoot, right? And my phone will take pictures. Well, Ryan's playing back all the stuff on his voice recorders. You know, he's a show off. He's got a DR60.
Oh.
Well, so does Mikey. So they're counter show offs. But anyway, we're sitting there listening to it, and it goes, shoot, Rick. And they go, wow, they saw you taking pictures. I said, well, there's another way of looking at that. Shoot Rick.
Yeah,
shoot Rick. Shoot him. He's driving us nuts.
that's a little harsh there. Can you just push me down the stairs or something? You have to shoot me. So that was a pretty good spot. When we went back there, we went to all these different castles. I mean, I not to brag, but I've got a lot of really good friends that have connections. And man, they were hooking us up right and left. So quite a bit of fun.
Like I said, back to the beginning, I think that we're going to have a great time in Ireland. We're all going to learn a lot about each other. We're going to figure out who has to have coffee before we talk to them. We're going to know all this stuff by the second day.
It's probably going to be most of them that have to have their coffee.
Yeah. We don't drink coffee, so we'll be fine.
I don't either. Can you imagine me on coffee? I'd be like a cat on hours. Be stuck in the ceiling. It's like
if we wouldn't get much done that way.
I don't get much done now. I move around a lot, but I don't accomplish anything. I look busy, but nothing.
That sounds like playing checkers.
Yeah. I tried playing checkers against myself, but I always knew what the next move was.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah.
So where would you guys go in Scotland? Do you know any of the castles? You'd have to go to Balgony. That's my favorite.
I don't know where we would go because first off, I've never been there. Until I started hearing your stories, I didn't know hardly anything about Scotland.
Yeah.
That may have been what you're supposed to call Kat back yesterday. She may have been wanting to talk about that.
No, she was worried about me because she knew that she knew that Rick was supposed to be on the show last week. And then she sent me a message. She goes, I can't find your show. And I said, well, we've had a family thing that came up that we got to deal with. And so she was concerned because she knows that we've been going through some family things here. And so she called me yesterday. Well, let's say I butt dialed her yesterday and when I was busy and she said, call me later. And I said, I will. And I didn't. I got tired. Sometimes you just don't want to talk. Even to somebody who's one of your best friends, sometimes you just don't want to talk.
I want to talk all the time. Well, I live alone. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have a dog. My friends don't come to visit me. So when I get a human near me, I'm talking, dang it.
Well, I should be. I used to be very extroverted. And, in my job, I was always around people. And now I work from home. I'm hardly ever around people. Sometimes now I've become more introverted as I've gotten older.
And I think that's pretty much everybody. As you get older, it's like, this is nice and peaceful.
Yeah, sometimes I don't want to people. I don't want people around.
You just want to sit there and go, yeah, this is good. This is okay. I'm okay with this,
And that's what I had last night. Ron and Lauren went out for a concert, and I was home alone.
Did you like how upset I got when you said you had to change it? No problem.
Yeah, you were great, and I appreciate that. So
yeah, that was last minute.
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
Yeah. And this stuff shouldn't have happened, but it did. So
usually right before a show.
Yeah. It seems to always happen right before I have a show or something like that. And then, we could have still had the show. It's just we weren't in the right headspace to do that at the time.
You should have just turned me so I could talk for an hour and a half.
I know you can, but I wouldn't do that to you. I want to learn something. My mind would have been on something that it didn't need to be on. I want my mind to be on what you're saying and paying attention. So if we went to Scotland, okay, we know that you would tell us to go to Balgony Castle. Say we follow you guys over there when we get done with the Ireland tour. Where would you say that we should go?
Follow. I'll be driving the bus.
Balgony Castle.
Right. Besides there, where else would you say we should go?
There's all kinds of places around that you can go to. It depends on how long you're going to be there, how far you want to go, how much you want to spend. Not for that, but you'd have to take a cab to some places, and it's actually the cab rides aren't too bad because we went from St. Andrews to Inverness, 5 of us, 2 different cars. It was like $100 for the 2 for all 5 of us. So it was like $20 a piece with all our luggage, 2 cars. So that was pretty cool. There's all kinds of stuff down in Scotland proper, in the city that you can go to that are just really cool. Greyfriars Kirkyard is really good. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. That's where Greyfriars Bobby is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool story. I mean, a dog sat there for 14 years after his owner passed away.
Mm-hmm.
So that one's pretty cool. That's a haunted place. There's like I said, there's a lot of them down there. And fortunately, I have a friend that can get me into a lot of places other people can't.
Yeah.
How long are you planning on staying over in Scotland after the Ireland tour?
Maybe a week.
About a week.
By the way, here's a hot tip for you. If you ever go in June or July and you want to stay at St. Andrews, which is a beautiful place, the St. Andrews University, the school, rents out the rooms like a hotel room. Now the ones across the street are like $300, $400, $500 right there on the strip. Well, the university's on the other side of the street. That's like about $100 a night.
Yep.
Matter of fact, I requested, because I've been there a few times, that if we could have the 3rd floor and down farther so you could see St. Andrews Golf Course, you can see the beach where they filmed Chariots of Fire. I don't know if you saw that, where they had that running on the sand. That's where that happened. So, I mean, you can stay there for a week for the price you pay for 2 days in Edinburgh.
Yep.
So, and it's a great place to walk around. It is haunted. A friend of mine, he does the tours, and it's really haunted. I mean, I have to tell you a story. This is going to get you. The first night I was staying at the university, there was one guy on my floor. Now, these, how big St. Andrews University is, a dorm room? It's city block long, right? Well, he was way down at the end, right? And I went in and I laid down, just put my head down, and I heard a girl, it sounded like the next room, scream bloody murder. And the first thing that came to my mind, and I hate for it to say this, because that was my mind went with the sound. It sounded like somebody gutting her. I mean, that's how the scream. It wasn't like, oh my goodness. It was like, ah! Yeah. I got up and I went running out and I'm running up the doors and down the hallways and nothing there, And I have a friend. I went down the next day and I asked the people up front, I said, do you ever get any things about somebody screaming upstairs? They said, no, lucky me. But I do have this one girl who's a world-class psychic. And I asked her, I said, I had something happen to me at St. Andrews. And she goes, how far away were you from the stairs? I said, 2, 3 rooms at the most. She goes, that's where they killed her. I didn't even tell her the story. And she just said, that's where they killed her. So, but this was somebody that was just getting eviscerated is the only way I could think of it. But that was, I don't want to hear that one again. That was terrible. But St. Andrews, I would say, if you'd want to go there for a couple days, save some money on the hotel rooms. And it's actually a really cool place. There's a little harbor down there that you go past St. Andrews Cathedral and the whole thing. It's a beautiful place. You walk down there and you go around and there's the harbor, which really isn't any different than any other harbor, right? You're right there on the North Sea looking out. But there is such a amazing feeling when you get down there. And I told Lori and I told Kat about that, and I brought them over, and they're just sitting there going, wow, you're right. You can feel it. I said, yeah, it's amazing. So you know what? One of the nice things about Scotland is you just go out and you just start wandering around. I mean, don't look for any place, just go. You'll bump into something really, really cool. Trust me on this.
Hey, Richard, how are you?
Hey, Richard.
So
I take it you're going to fly back. When you fly back, you'll be leaving from Scotland then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, that I think Scottish Paranormal is the best ghost hunting group in the world. I mean, they are.
Well, that's because you're part of it. I mean, aren't you a little bit biased?
Well, yeah.
A lot of it.
No, they really are. Matter of fact, I'm in their Hall of Fame. And the only reason I bring that up is because I'm not in anybody else's Hall of Fame, so I'm going to brag about it, right? But no, they are really, really good. I mean, you ever get a chance to go something with those guys? And there's one guy there, Lee Dunn, he's been on TV many times. He's a psychic medium. And I remember we went to Cool Ross, which is a city that's known for being haunted. And there's a thing called, I think it's the toll booth. That's like this straight up and down spire. And we went up there. There's me, the lady, Linda Whiteford, the one that runs the whole area, Lee Dunn, and Gregor. And we're all standing there. We'd been there about half an hour. Finally, this is what I love about Lee Dunn. He looks over and he says, Gregor goes, "Lee, are you feeling anything?" And he goes, "Nope." Right?
No.
You know, most of the time you ask a psychic about it, that they go, "I feel a girl in a white dress in the corner is starting to manifest." It's like, I gotta
come up with something.
Yeah. I think a lot of it is that people expect them to say something.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't see nothing, I don't see nothing. And I say it.
That's the way he is. He's like, no.
And the thing that I always have to remind people is just because I don't see nothing doesn't mean there's nothing there. It's just nothing that wants me to see it.
Well, I try and explain that to a lot of people. They say, well, you see stuff that we don't. I said, well, I've kind of gotten used to get the right look for this. And I said, and spirits will get to know who you are just by the energy that you give off when you go something. I said, and it's just, you got to have the right attitude.
That's true. Yeah.
So to get some activity.
Yeah.
Say you're in a location, you're not getting any activity at all. What do you suggest somebody does to try to get some activity if the place is truly haunted?
Just talk to them. I mean, they were people once. I tell people all the time, because on different podcasts how do you get spirits to, come to you? I said, well, it's a pretty simple answer. I said, how would you react if you went outside and in your backyard there was a little puppy? What would you do? And they go, well, we try and get him to come over there, but we wouldn't want to scare him, and we talk nice to him. And I said, bingo. Do the same thing for the spirits. Be nice. Don't be pushy. They get more stuff.
One of our tricks is to talk amongst ourselves, and then they want to talk to us because we're not talking to them.
That's true. You know who's got a good thing that she does is Lori. Lori comes in and she brings a small speaker and she plays like Elvis music and stuff. And she gets stuff all the time doing that. I will tell you, one of the weirdest things, though, was me and Kat and Lori. Kat had been up to the old Paulding jail. And she had a real weird experience with the door slamming and everything else. Well, she couldn't come this time. It was Lori, me, and a couple other people were standing there. I said, you know what? Let's call Kat and see if she can talk to the spirits, right? Why this came into my little pointy head, I don't know. But anyway, we called her, and they started talking to each other.
Yeah.
I mean, we did that.
Yeah.
I did that. Like that. We did that at Malvern Manor in Iowa. Mm-hmm. We called a friend and we did an EVP session with them on the phone.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird, but I mean, it was just like a regular conversation. I'm like, wow, I'm just going to sit here and listen to this.
She is very connected to that old Paulding jail. But what's funny is we have an old Paulding jail here in Florida too.
Same
Isn't
name?
that funny? Same name.
Well, you know what's funny is I get all kinds of people want to be my friends on Facebook until they find out I'm not actually the producer of Star Wars, because we have the same name.
You know what? I probably wouldn't want to be friends with the producer of Star Wars because I don't know nothing about Star Wars other than Luke, I'm your father.
Yeah.
Yes.
And R2D2. Sorry. That's about all I know.
Yeah.
R2D2. You know, I've done a lot of monster movies where I've played the monster, like I played werewolves, underwater monsters, and things like that. And I really feel for that little guy, R2D2, inside that. That's got to be miserable in there.
Well, you think about Chewbacca.
Well, yeah, I actually played a character that was a werewolf. And California in the summer is not very chilly out. Let's put it that way. I've got this whole thing on, and I'm like, I was having a hard time breathing. I looked down, and there's like a lake around me from how much I was sweating. They actually went and got one of them giant fans, and I just blew all the air out of it.
So speaking of that, so what do you think the odds are of somebody dressing up like Bigfoot and running through the forest in California in the summertime? Do you think that's a possibility?
More than likely.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of knuckleheads out here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out here that know people in the movie business that can make a pretty realistic looking thing now.
Oh yeah.
But the thing you got to watch out for is you got rednecks out there in them woods. Oh, yeah. You want to go running around looking like a Bigfoot, you might look like one that's up on top of his mantle. You know,
yep. Might get shot.
Yep, might have a target on you at the same time.
That's what I'm saying. It's just that's nothing to play with.
Are you interested in, researching Bigfoot or aliens or anything else other than ghosts?
Oh, yeah, I'm really into that stuff. You know, I'll tell you a quick story. When on Halloween they asked me and RA to come out to the Queen Mary, and we're in the back room waiting for our turn to go out and have George Norrie. It was Coast to Coast AM. And Stanton Friedman was there. Now, you remember Stanton? I mean, he's like as knowledgeable as anybody. And I'm sitting there, and he had these big, like caterpillar eyebrows, right? And then the glasses. And he looks at my shirt, which says Hollywood Ghost Hunters. And he looks at me and he goes, "So, do you believe in ghosts, even though there's not one single shred of empirical evidence?" Right? Things are looking at me. I thought they're going to jump off and bite my face. And he's looking at me, and I went, "You believe in UFOs?" And he just went, "Touche." So we ended up being buddies. I mean, when we were in Michigan doing a convention, Chris Rutkowski, who's very famous up in Canada for some of the stuff he's found, him and Stan were having dinner, and I came in to have dinner and plugged my phone in, and Chris came over and he says, "Hey, come join me and Stanton for dinner." And I was like, and I was over there in a second. But we were there for like 2 hours talking all the different big, things. It was like a master's degree in ufology. So yeah,
that's one of Kat's favorite interviews. Was one of her most memorable was Stanton Friedman before he passed away.
Yeah, I used to have an online magazine, and I interviewed Stanton. And good guy. It was weird because Kat and I were overlapping. We both had interviewed George Norrie. You know, the first person I ever interviewed for the magazine was Zach Bagans. You know, and anybody says he's not smart, they're crazy, because I did like 2,000 words on him, and I sent it to him. I said, "Change anything you want." And I mean, like within 5 minutes, I got another thing back. "Can you just change this right here?" And I said, "Yep. It's your show there, pal. It's Zoom." So I just changed it. I said, "How about now?" And he goes, "Perfect." So
I never questioned that. I never questioned that about him. I tell everybody who asks me my opinion on Zach, I said, he's an A-type personality. His name's on everything and he wants it to be right. So just because you're an A-type in his way. Yeah. I mean, but he's the one whose name's going on everything. I expect him to be that way.
I'll tell you something funny. When I did the movie that he was doing, like I said, I coordinated. It was only one day, and it was at a house, and the waiting room, for all the cast and everybody else was in a garage. So I'm just sitting there. Now these guys don't know me. They don't know that I know Zach. They don't know anything about me at all. I'm just sitting there, and the two guys that work for him are talking back and forth. He goes, "What do you think about Zach?" And he goes, "Man, he really pisses me off sometimes." And I'm like, "Really?" I'm just listening. He goes, "Well, what are you mad about?" He goes, "Well, I'm not really mad about it." He says, he'll ask me during the week to, pick up stuff and pay for it. And he'd give me some money at the end of the week. Right. And he says, just little stuff like a 6-pack of Coke here and this and that and stuff. He says, and then on Friday, he'll come up and he goes, "Hey, I got to give you some money." Right. And he reaches his pocket. He says, he reaches in and brings in a big thing of $100 bills and gives me a couple. Said, "Is that enough?" He says, "It's like $30 I spent." I said, "No, that's more than enough. I'll keep it." Right. So, he's not a bad guy at all.
No, and that's one of the things, I tell people that because, I've got a selfie with Zach. I didn't care. I figure, I didn't want selfies. I didn't give a crap other than I needed proof that in case I never got on the show, hey, I was there. But it was his idea to take selfies with me and my daughter.
Mm. Well, pardon me while I reach over here and grab something. If I can get it off the wall. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. There you go. When you actually are on Ghost Adventures, when you leave, they give you one of these.
Oh, they didn't do that for us.
Well, R.A. and Kane had them surrounded.
Well, that's different. Yeah. They didn't do that for us, and I may have pissed off Billy by telling him that he looked like Johnny Hauser. Have you ever met Johnny Hauser from the Villisca Axe Murder House?
Yeah, I know he is.
Yeah.
I've never met him though.
Yeah, but back in, before Johnny had all this facial hair, he had a little, but him and Billy look a lot alike and they are built similar. Billy didn't like that. I was like, sorry.
Yeah, I'm still friends. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Is Nick? I haven't talked to him in a long time.
Yeah, he's doing Death Walker.
What he's doing?
He became a dad. Yep.
His own show.
Yep. He's got his own stuff going on. He has a show called Death Walker. I have not watched it. I know he did something at the Sally House a couple years ago, and that's all I know. I don't pay attention. I try not to watch too many of the shows anymore because I tend to get irritated. Yell at the TV.
I can't watch some of this nonsense,
Yeah, I mean, it's like with Ghost Hunters. There was one time that the door moved and they completely ignored that, but they went on their merry way to go investigate something else, And it's like, which thing is really important? What are you investigating? Why, I just get irritated. And especially when, okay, I'm going to K2 you here, but they'll show a K2 and then this camera gets really close to it and wonder why it goes off. Could it be that your camera is giving off electromagnetic fields that's making it go off?
They have to give evidence.
Yeah. So I don't know. I get a little irritated at the TV. So that's just me.
Well, I'm the same way. There's a lot of shows I just go, oh God, how these people ever get on the air?
I know.
Yeah. But again, we also watch a show called On Patrol Live. And we get to watch stupid people every weekend doing stupid things. So, And we get to guess whether or not they really were drinking and driving.
I made a career out of doing stupid things.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, then what was the most stupid thing that you've done?
There's two of them. I was doubling Barry Bostwick, if you know who he is.
Yes, I know who Barry Bostwick is.
There's a movie called Project Metal Beast. And he was a scientist who had made this giant metal werewolf. And Kane was the werewolf. And I was doubling Barry. And Kane comes up to me, while we're waiting, trying to figure out what we're going to do. And we were in this industrial place, like a water factory. And they had these huge roll-up doors, right? Real roll-up doors. So when nobody was looking, I ran up there and I jumped and I hit it sideways and it just threw me back. I was like, oh, this is perfect, right? So Kane goes, so what are we going to do? I said, well, I got my mini tramp. I'm going to put it out here. I'm going to sprint, hit it, go up in the air, upside down, backwards, hit that wall, and flop on the ground. He goes, what are you going to put underneath it? I said, nothing. He goes, you're going to go back here, sprint, hit
my head,
and land on the ground, and you're not going to put anything underneath it. I said, nope.
Just the top of your head.
Yeah, he just looks and he goes, okay. But I went so fast when I hit it, the thing went backwards, and it didn't kick me out because I was expecting it to kick me out. I had elbow pads and a back pad, right, knee pads, and so I could hit those and take all the brunt. Well, when you hit something and you're going straight up and down, bam, and it doesn't go anywhere, you go.
Yep.
And I right on the top of my head on the concrete.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I mean, from probably 3 or 4 feet high, and as I landed, I spun around to get so my face wasn't towards the camera, so because I don't look like Barry Bostwick. But man, I really knocked the crap out of myself. And Kane comes over and he helps me up. He goes, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, let's go." Boom! And then he throws me across the room into all these steel girders. I'm like, I should have stayed in college.
Yeah.
So did you have a head injury from that?
Probably,
Okay.
but I didn't go check.
Okay.
The other one that was really something was a movie called Darkwolf, and I played the Darkwolf, which was a big, goofy-looking werewolf. And there's a scene at the very end, and there's, well, hark! I have things that will look like this. These barrels, the 55-gallon drums, they were like this, and there were 2 rows this way. So I mean, it was really thick. And I run out and I jump on the hood of the car and I'm smashing the windows and trying to drag the people out, and it takes off going backwards. And then it does. Remember when you were a kid and you played Crack the Whip? That's what the car did. It cracked the whip with me on the hood.
Oh yeah.
Which launched me headfirst into the barrels, which, like I said, were too high and they were too wide. And I mean, I went flying in there, blam! And I mean, all these barrels are flying around. Now, 55-gallon drums, steel drums,
yep,
are heavy, right?
Nope.
And they're just beating the shit out of me. I mean, they're bam, bam, bam from everywhere. One of them hit me right in the side of the head, and I could feel the blood coming down from out of my ear, right? And it knocked me for a loop. And one of the things when you're doing stunts and you're in the air, you need to know where you're at, right? But every time I'd start to figure out, okay, I'm going this way, another barrel would go bam and knock me over here. The barrel would come up behind me, hitting me in the back. Finally, I got through the first row of barrels and knocked over some more, and I flipped over, and here we go, more stuff. This is the barrel, and I came over this way, and I landed right on my back on the edge. Just went flat out. And I bounced up in the air and landed face first in the ground. Well, then I had to roll out of the way for the car so you couldn't see what happened to the wolf. Right? So I rolled out and I'm laying there. And the director runs over, it's one of my best friends. And another guy, the guy that was doing the special effects, comes over and he starts taking the mask off. Right? I'm like, everybody that was there. See, here's a secret on the stunt business. If the cast and crew come out to watch, they expect you to get hurt.
Yeah.
It's something pretty hellacious, and they want to see it just in case. Matter of fact, as I was getting ready to go, one of the girls that was one of the lead actresses, Andrea Bogart, comes out. I'm standing right next to the car, and she goes, "Rick, are you going to get hurt?" And I went, "Yeah." And she goes, "How bad?" I said, "I'll let you know in a minute." And I jumped in the car and off I went. But they pulled the helmet off, and the blood was coming out of my ear, and they're all thinking I got a brain injury, right? And my friend Richard, who's directing, he runs over and he's going, "Are you okay?" Right? Mostly, yeah, right. And everybody's going, "Look at the blood coming out of your ear." And I said, "I don't have a brain injury. The barrel came up and hit me in the ear. I've got a cut." And I went like this, so they could see the cut in the ear. But I'm laying there on the ground, and I'm still loopy. And Richard goes, "Is there anything I can do to help?" And I said, "Yeah, say those 3 little words." And he goes, "What 3 little words?" And I went, "Perfect, moving on."
Yep.
That means we're done.
We need to do that one again.
Yeah, a lot of times.
So the question that I would have now is, how many bones have you broken in your job?
It's a good question. I have a feeling that I've broken my ribs several times, but not too much. That'd be pretty much it. But we were doing a movie in North Carolina, on the battleship North Carolina, and there's a scene where I get shot in the face. I'm mopping. "Hey, Jeremy!"
Jeremy.
I'm mopping, right? And I turn around, and I've got big headphones on. I'm listening to music, right? And I turn around with the mop, and I hit a girl's cowboy boot. And I look up at her, and she shoots me in the face. Boom! So I go flying backwards. You know those big industrial strength mop things they use like on ships?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Kane wanted me to hit in there with one arm and have all the water fly. Right? So I go in there and I hit the thing, and it didn't budge. And I just went boom right on my ribs into the concrete or steel, whichever it was. And I got back up, and I said, "Let's do it again." And the director goes, No, that looked awful hard. And I said, "Let's do it again." Kane goes, "Let's do it again." So they were okay.
Quit listening to Kane, I think.
So I really went flying in there the second time, and I hit right where I wanted to, and the water come flying up. But the problem is, when you stick your arm in something like this, all of this open. So I went like this, and when I went hitting down, I hit right on my ribs again, right on the metal deck. And I mean, full power, full weight, bam. And I mean, I had like for 3 or 4 months, I had a hard time sleeping because it was just like, oof, oof.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, you definitely probably at least cracked a few ribs.
yeah, they were mighty painful. It was funny, though, that Kane came. The walls are about this far apart in this one hallway. And he says, "Okay, well, now I want you guys to grab this guy and smash him off the wall." They're like, Kane goes, "Stop." Right? And he walks over and he goes, boom, slam, 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 slam. Do that. He walks back. It's like, I think he just wanted to get that out of the system, actually. But
yeah, probably.
He's probably tired of telling people what to do and said, "I'm going to show you now."
No, I got to tell you, the stunt guys down there were really good. So that wasn't the problem. So Kane, I always say, is a lot like, what's that one? Tina Turner.
Oh.
Kane doesn't do anything nice and easy. I know. I took a chainsaw to the crotch in another movie with him. So I know how.
I remember that story.
Yeah, I remember. Yes. Oh. Yeah, the funny thing was, the guy that was behind me, who was also on the same chainsaw, I told him the day before, I said, "Get a cup." "Oh, I won't need that." I said, "Trust me, I've known Kane now for 30 years. Get a cup."
Yep.
Right? And I just happened to come out of a restaurant, and I looked, and there's a sporting goods place right there. So I walked in and I bought a cup with a supporter, and I gave it to him. I said, "Colton, did you get it?" He goes, "No." I said, "Put this on." He goes, "I don't." I said, "I'm telling you, I'm the stunt coordinator for this scene. Put it on." So he puts it on, and here comes Kane with this 8-foot long. I don't know if you saw that movie or not. 8-foot long, saw blade, and I'm blasting him, and he's, the other guy's shooting him, but he's hiding behind me because he's really scared. And my gun stops, and Kane puts the chainsaw blade between my legs, and it goes between the other guy's legs, and he goes, "Argh," and he lifts us up in the air, and we get chainsawed in half and go.
Yeah.
After we're done, Colton comes up. He was the comedy element in the movie. He comes up to me and he just hugs me and he goes, "Oh, thank you, man." He says, "I'm so glad I put that on." He goes, "I'll give it back to you." No. We're all coming. All yours. It's a present from me to you, But that was pretty tough.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show.
No.
Yes. Where can everybody find Rick McCallum?
On Facebook is the easiest way. You can usually, if you can't remember how to spell my last name, it's you go to Ghost Believe in Me, because that was my first book. Which, thanks to Jeremy York, I won the Paranormal Book of the Year with that one. So that was cool. But that's the best place to catch up with me. And I answer everything eventually.
And anybody who wants to know more about the tour, it's Mysterious Ireland or Secret Ireland Tours. Secret Ireland Tours, and check that out. There are multiple tours, but the one with Rick is in September of 2025. It's the September 1st through 9th. Ron and I will be there. Kat Hobson and quite a few other people will be there as well. So if you want to come, check it out. It's not cheap, but make sure you have a passport and your UK visa to go, just in case. And then if you have any questions about that, go to like I said, that website, Secret Ireland Tours. All the answers are there. So check that out. And
I just saw my picture. Now I realize why I'm single. Because that's why.
Well,
come back, go with us.
Well, you're probably going to get a lot of attention on this trip anyway. So don't worry about that.
Well, I expect you guys to surround me and save me.
Well, we'll try. Unless we find somebody that's perfect for you.
Yeah, then out of the way. There's nobody that's perfect for me because I'm not perfect for anybody else.
You don't know. You just don't know. But please join us here every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central for the Paranormal Pride. When I say that, I mean everyone that's not a holiday and everyone that we're not traveling. So right now, currently, I'm planning on having a show next Monday night unless something happens. And join us here every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central for Paranormal Nation Radio, Not So Normal, with me, Carl and Ron, and whoever the fresh meat of the day is, we'll let you know who that is once I get them, and we'll have a great time. So please check out all the shows on Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment, Things Network, Dark Realm TV. Check that out on Roku and on Amazon Fire, and soon to be on Apple TV. We're there, as well as a lot of other shows. And, you're watching us. If you're watching us, you could be watching me on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Born TV. So please check out all the shows. Have a great day. And thank you guys so much for supporting us. Have a great night.
Night, everybody.
Bye.